let's get the notification insights. I believe it's something we'll do in the next episode where we'll start working on notifications. But for now, let's work on total monthly spend, the calculation. Then we are also going to work on upcoming renewals, which is also going to be part of this notification that are upcoming. Then we are also going to work on the spending by category. So all this will be happening now in our provider class. So let's quickly move down to the bottom section. So from here, I'm going to create, these are going to be for the analysis, to keep track of the analysis. So let's just call this analysis function. So first I need to create the total monthly cost. So the first thing we are going to do is to have a double value. Initially it's going to be set to 0, like the total value, which is 0. And then from here we are going to loop through all the subscriptions and then sum the datas together. Since it's based on monthly, we are going to divide it. We are going to divide 30 by the circle, the billing circle. So we have for var, let's loop through this. So we can say X, let's say sub in subscriptions. So the subscription, remember we already created a getter for the getter, okay, where we are getting all the subscriptions. So before we can get the total summary, we must have fetched the subscriptions already, so it's not going to be empty. Even though it's empty, the for loop is not going to continue. The initial value will just be total 0. So from here we have to create a new variable. Let's call this monthly. So I'm going to create sub.monthly cost. Remember it's a double. I'm going to multiply it by 30 divided by the billing circle. So let's say the billing circle now. Let's come down here and create an integer to get days based on billing circle. So it's going to be like this. We have the days of the billing circles, which is, let me put that here. So if it's daily, we are going to divide 30 by 1. If it's weekly, we are going to divide 30 by 7. If it's monthly, we are going to divide 30 by 30. Then if it's yearly, we are going to divide 30 by 365, which is going to give us the result. Then if it's never, we just return 30, which is like monthly. So I think we still need to modify these calculations later. So here I'm just going to send the sub dot, because it's requesting for a string, which is the billing circle, because it's a string. All right. So that's pretty much it. And here we can now, I think it's best we convert this to lowercase to avoid any potential issues. So I'm going to convert all these to lowercases. Yeah. So it's better we do that to avoid potential issues. But what about users forget to pass this? It's better we do it inside the method. So lower circle, let's call circle dot to lowercase. Then we are going to use this one instead. Cool. Then for the monthly, we are just going to do total. Then we sum it by monthly. Okay. I believe you guys know how to use these operators in that. So I have a video on that, so you can check it out, like my basic beginner Dart and Flutter tutorial. So this is it for getting total monthly cost. So what we are going to do now is to go to our UI and implement this total monthly cost in our dashboard. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard view inside build home. So just here I'm going to get total monthly costs. Let's just use that amount. Then here we can just say sub VM dot total monthly cost. So inside here, and I'm going to be passing it inside this total monthly cost. Instead of these $30,000 that we have here, I'm going to set it to the actual value, which is going to be total monthly costs. Why am I getting this error? Okay, it's going to be total monthly cost. Yep, you can see $20 is the total monthly cost of, if you sum this subscription, it is actually $20. So I think I need to just remove this concatenation. Hola, we have it there. You can also format it to remove these decimal points, but it's amount, so you need to expect doubles to be available. Then we also need to create the upcoming renewal sub as well. So that one we have to put in. First, let's work on spending by category so that it will be easier to format this analysis before any other thing. So I'll go to the provider. Below here, I'm going to create a new one, which is spending by category. So spending by category for the bar chart is going to return a string of the double. So the string is going to be the key. We are going to return a map actually, which is a string of double. So this one, we are just going to call it spending per category for the pie chart. So here we have the spending by category. And for this one, we are going to create an initial value, which is like a double value here that is going to hold the initial data. Then we can now loop through the subscriptions. We're going to get all like the total subscriptions. Then we have data. Then we add the sub.category, which is, then we can convert it to lowercase. Okay, so we are adding the sub as the key. Then we are now assigning each values to it. So we can say data sub.category. And if it's null, we can return 0, and then we multiply it by the sub monthly cost. Okay, the category, then we multiply it by the total monthly cost. In case this is like if we have more than one subscription with the same categories, so we are just multiplying all of them together with their monthly sub. Then once you are done, you can just go ahead and return the data. So now for this, what I'm going to do is just to go over to the analysis view where we are going to be using this. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is just above here where we are calling this showing section, and we have all these values, it's touched and the rest. I'm going to create, okay, I think I already have this here. Category is there. Then we're also going to create spending by category. Here, I'm just going to call the sub VM dot spending by category. That's pretty much it. And then from here, I'll just replace, we already have our category color. Then the value here is going to be spending by category. And then we pass in the category. I think we have already formatted this to lowercase. Now you can see it's taking shape gradually. All of them now has a different value. So here I'm going to replace this one now with the actual title. Let's say we have spending by category, then we pass in the category to get the actual title. It's showing null. Okay, it's all showing null. Okay, let's move on and complete the other section. So if it's null, we return 0. Then we divide it by 100. Yep. No, we divide it by 100 actually. Return 0. I think we are having issues here. Okay, I need to add this parenthesis to properly put this guy in its place. Then we divide it by 100 and by the percentage. So now you can see we have 0.2% because this is $20, 0.2%. And others have 0% because there is no data. They don't have any data. That's why they are all 0%. This is 0.2% and it's bigger than the rest of it. Okay. When we tap, it's just going to give us that pop. So that's pretty much it for the analysis view. There's nothing else we need to do here anymore. So I think before calling it a wrap, we can just touch on other sections like working on the upcoming renewal subs. So the idea for the upcoming renewal sub is that it's going to count the subscription renewing in the next 7 days. That's just the idea for it. So in the next 7 days, you can reduce it to in the next 3 days, okay, or you can reduce it to whichever value that you want. But for this tutorial, I'll be using the next 7 days. But I think for testing, we can reduce it to like 2 days so that we'll be able to see that notification when it comes. So for this, I'll have my subscriptions model. Then we have upcoming renewal subs. And from here, we have to create now, like the current date. So next thing, I'm going to get the upcoming. We can just add it because remember I told you I want to use 7 days. So we have .add days to be 7. Then from here we can just return our subscription. Subscription.where. Let's use X, which is like the sub, where the sub.next billing date is after. Remember, this next billing date is a date time. So if it's after today, which is the current date, and sub next billing date is before the upcoming. So that's pretty much what we want. And then you can just go ahead and convert this to a list. Okay, and once you're done with that, that's pretty much it. We don't need any other thing again. So now we can now go to the upcoming renewal subs and then display it accordingly in the dashboard view. So I'm going to go to the dashboard view now, and still under the build where we created, this one, I'm going to have upcoming subs dot subvm dot upcoming subs. So back to the second part. So in this part, we are just going to complete the whole calculation for total spending, and spending by category. Okay. So now let's use like the one that is close to 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's use 18. And monthly, we just say monthly. This is entertainment, then save. You can see now the upcoming renewal is 1. We only have one that is coming up soon, which is the Spotify. You can see 50. Now you can see that we have 0.5%. The analysis view has changed. This one is 0.2%. You can see now entertainment is having more percentage than software. So in the next video, we are going to touch on the notification aspects.